2021-2022 school year, with the last day of school quickly approaching for both students and staff. I know everyone will be elated to see the year come to a close. It is also the last time that we will recognize our current superintendent, David Fleishman, for a superintendent update before he moves on to his exciting new role as president and chief executive officer of JVS Boston. David, what would you like to share with us for your last official update in front of the Newton School Committee?
Well, first, Tamika, I promise to be brief because this is probably the longest agenda of any end of June school committee meeting I've ever seen. So number one, I'm not going to prolong it. But I do want to, I've been thinking a lot about the end of this school year and how it's been different than the last couple of school years. And it's interesting, in the spring of 2020, we had very few end of year festivities. Any of you remember the car parade at Newton North in 2020? That's where we were 2 years ago. And other than that, Newton South had a small outdoors. People would come in groups to the graduations. And, last year we had wonderful outdoor graduations. We had some end of year ceremonies, but there's a lot we didn't have last year. You'll recall in the spring that parents and guardians still didn't go into schools generally. It was rare. And what's been, I think, so special in the last month that we've seen family members and grandparents and parents in schools for end of year events, publishing parties, middle school global goals, end of year presentations. Just today, I was at Day Middle School, and I know Toby was there earlier. They had their first ever career day where they brought in people from all kinds of careers to talk to students. I spent my time, Ben Volin, who's a football and golf writer for the Patriots, was reflecting on the US Open. So, that's where I was, but there were all kinds of wonderful professionals, the arts and different industries. And this was actually a new tradition, new in-person tradition started. And what that told me is that we're going to have more in-person traditions and getting back to in-person events. It feels like the last month were 2 months we're coming back. And I hope next year, because schools are also about community, and we've talked a lot about the loss of what we've had in schools with Zoom, but there's been a real loss of community for adults and for families. And that's what I've seen come back in the last month. And that's really special. And I think hopefully as we head into next year, we build community, because at the end of the day, schools are learning environments, but they're also communities. And it leaves me hopeful, just what I've seen the last month and today, that these communities will reinvent themselves in new ways that we haven't seen before, and that families and students and teachers and administrators will be more connected than ever. I think that's something that we know is so important, and something I hope to follow. And that's really what I want to say. And that left me today with a sense of optimism and looking forward to the future as we rebuild strong communities. That's number one. Number two is it has been one tough year. And there's no way to say it any other way. When I think of people who work in the system, people are tired for obvious reasons. I think of where we were that Sunday after the December break. We were giving out those testing kits. Some districts were closed. We've come a long way from that. And I think there's a lot of thank yous for the wonderful team and people I've worked with over the last 12 years to make all of that happen. Because I think we are finishing strong and can look forward to a really positive next year and hopefully a positive future. So I'm going to stop there because otherwise I could put us at 10:05, and that's not something I could do at that meeting.
We could end there, though. But your words were very wise, very profound, and very true. Here's to rebuilding and reconnecting and doing a lot of that work together as we look to next year.